Oh. Waiting.
And we're here. Hi guys.
Yeah.
I'm making sure that the stream is running fine. I'm taking a look at the chat. Hello everybody. If you can hear us, if you can see us, say something. Let us know. Do you want to do a sound check, guys? Say 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Beautiful.
1, 2, 3.
Beautiful.
Hello.
Let me send a little message. Hey guys. Sup. Sup.
What? 9 people watching, including us.
That dramatically dropped when we went live. People were like, what the fuck is this? All right, bye.
Should I invite the brick company?
Yes, please do that because this is ridiculous. Hi, Mary. Hi, Roser. Okay, I guess the people can hear us. Can you hear us good? Chandan, hey. Vlad, hey, Vlad.
Hello.
Okay, I guess the people are tuning in. Guys, do a quick mouse check. Everybody watching from home, do a mouse check and see if the like button under this video works.
Good catch.
Just click the like button, make sure that it works. Okay, I see some people works, most people doesn't work. Keep trying until you see
Maybe
the...
double click it.
Maybe triple click it.
And try the subscribe button as well.
Oh yes, that's a very... That button never really works. Try also the subscribe button. Hey Dario, what's going on? Alright, guys, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to me about your beautiful projects. How are you guys today?
Good. It's not that we had any, any options.
It's like, I was supposed to be at the beach. Actually, Denis might have been at the beach right now, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit further away, but on the weekend I go to the mountains.
Okay, because Denis is actually talking to us from Hanoi, Vietnam. Then we have Andras and Andras from Budapest. And Lucia from London. A little bit of enthusiasm, guys. I'm the only one talking. Yeah. So first of all, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to me. I wanna get to talk a little bit about your work. Congratulations for being among the top finalists. Unfortunately, Esther and Juan could not be on the show because they did not feel very comfortable speaking in English to me. Like, you know, if I was a Nobel for the English language. But, you know, I understand that. I also struggled a lot in the beginning when I had to learn the language. But hopefully, you know, in a while after they watch the entire series of Friends, they'll be able to... on Netflix, they'll be able to join us. But anyway, guys, let's just jump into the project discussion because I'm very excited to break down a little bit the way that you have created these artworks. The work that you have done was amazing. Everybody was blown away. Just think of the fact that we had Mike Winkelmann-Beeple on the show, and when he saw the images, he literally went like, whoa! And so, you know...
That was insane.
To me, that was really like unbelievable because, you know, of course he's a very humble guy, But having somebody like him being blown away by the work that you guys have done in such a short time, you know, it makes me proud. First of all, there is a question that I want to ask you. Do you think there was any project that you thought might have deserved a little bit more attention or might have deserved to qualify a little bit higher up, that you remember that should have deserved a little bit more attention from our side?
Yes. Like, I can start. Sorry for. I was really surprised. I was watching live, obviously, the judgment as it was coming, and there was one that I was really heartbroken about, the military camp. There was that military camp with that ominous red structure behind. I think that should have deserved a higher position.
Yeah, it was a Simon Stallehag style image. You know,
Yes.
You can see it's
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just share the screen so that everybody knows what we're talking about. I agree, this was a beautiful, beautiful image. I don't know, you know, we have this rule that the judges have to pick an image that, according to them, it's not a final image, right? It's not a finalist. I really thought that this image deserved a place higher up. But eventually, you know, this is the...
I don't think you have to explain yourself. You know, I was on the other side as well, not long time ago with CG Award, and actually it's a really, really hard job.
Yes.
It is a little bit... It is a little bit like a lottery, right?
Yes, a really random lottery.
Yeah, because
Well-
you cannot guess the personal feelings of another person, I guess.
Yes, it's
Like
true.
maybe somebody doesn't like that simple color, or like, who knows?
No, you can cut out like 80% of it. It's easy, and then the rest of the 20 is subjective, and that's our judgment.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's true.
I agree.
I agree with you guys. But anyway, let's just jump into your projects. The one thing that I'm very curious to... let me actually just show all the top five. This is the image from Lucia. Beautiful. I think, you know, this is an amazing
You
picture.
guys
I
can
mean,
see the screen. I
um,
can't see the screen. I don't know if...
you cannot really see it. You could see it on YouTube, because the thing is that if I share my
Okay.
screen, it's going to mess
And
up
it's
the
like
layout.
20 seconds. Lucia.
Yeah, it takes
So
a
it's
couple of
like
seconds.
Yeah.
You know, Lucia, this is to me really impressive, and we're going to talk a little bit about it because of the fact that, you know, you made such a bold decision to go black and white, and still you managed to capture... This is a fantastic image, seriously. It works at every level.
I'll
We-
pay you later.
We have had this conversation also like post-show with the guys, and it really does work at every level. But anyway, then there is the image from Denis. I have it at the moment on the screen. Denis, I really have like 1,000 questions for this artwork because it's just like it's out of this world. The picture from Juan and Esther. Then we have the picture from Andras. People were asking if this was a real building. And then we have the picture from Maria Vittoria Porro, also an amazing work. But let's start with Andras and Andras, because you guys qualified as fourth, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I ask you a little bit, what was it like going into this challenge? What was your thinking pattern when you first saw the models and you said, okay, how should we approach this?
I should go. Yeah, I should.
You approached it first.
Yeah. I followed these challenges, and it was like, okay, I don't have time, and then I run out of excuses, and then I had an open window of not taking care of kids for a couple of hours, and then I saw this challenge, which was I really into the fractals and experimental architecture. That's my kind of side hobby, what I never do, but
Oh, I remember.
so of course I was like inspired by this challenge, and it was obvious that I have to do it. So what you need to know that because of this situation, I have so limited time to do it. So I think Vida, you helped me like a couple of hours, not more.
No, I helped like 2 afternoons, let's say.
Yeah, that's a couple of hours.
Yeah,
and then I did the same, like 2 afternoons. Mm-hmm. So, but the starting point in this image was, was a earlier idea. I doing lots of sketches, just digital sketches, split paintings, and of course this one was based on an earlier sketch of mine. And basically I combined this 3D model where we get and I combine it with my composition. So basically the composition more or less fixed.
We had a good starting point,
Yeah, and then we wanted to figure out a good story to this mech structure. And there was a couple of ideas around. There was this, my idea was that, these are like huge buildings put in, just somebody put there, but nobody knows what is the purpose of these buildings. And actually it's there for decades, nobody can use it. And then it became just like this attraction.
That's
and then
cool.
People are climbing on it, and these guided tourists with Chinese tourist groups.
We wanted to make it really funny. So like, touristic people, they always in a funny position making photos. And like we wanted to put one at the edge of the desk. So it's like a piratey situation.
But at the end we decided to go with this because we wanted to give this, there is a huge depth on the image. So you can really feel the size of these, and we wanted to somehow implement that with the story. That's why we ended up to do this parachuting kind of story with it, and it's still a little bit funny, I guess, or for me it's funny. It was funny.
I loved it. It would have been definitely in my top 3, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's an amazing picture.
Let me jump to the image of Denis. Denis, now sure. The image is on the screen, so people from home, they can see it. I have a question. How the fuck? Like, would you mind telling us where did you start from? Like, what was going on in your head?
No.
Like, actually nothing. Like a year ago or so, I saw a video at Poco Channel, if somebody might know it. And he interviewed a guy from Walt Disney who said like every day in the morning he's doodling for half an hour or 20 minutes and let his mind go. And talked about that it's important to start drawing without like having a goal in mind, without any purpose, just putting line on line on line. And often during the process, you see something like, and then like a bird or an espresso machine or whatever, and then you can start emphasizing it. But you don't have the idea to create something before. Like you start working without a goal. And I started doing that doodling again, and started also doing that in 3D. And that actually was the beginning. So I took the element that we got, the model, and just added stuff and distracted and deformed and moved and just for fun. And looked what it can be. And at one point, it looked like a bird. And so I started emphasizing that kind of shape. And then like step by step, it became that piece. But I didn't have anything like what I wanted to achieve. Like I just started without any concept or whatever. That came out.
I like that because very often people reach out to me saying, I'm in a creative pit. How do I get out of it? And actually, doing is the antidote to this kind of stuff, right? You just get started, you work on something, you try, you test, and then you come out with something beautiful, or you come out?
And also it takes some pressure out of it if you start doing it without having like, oh, I need to make a masterpiece. Like you always criticize yourself during the process and then you throw it away. If you take the pressure out, then you might often do the better work than with that pressure.
Yes.
Especially when like in the art competition that we have now, where you don't have to satisfy a client.
Yes, it's true. Okay, Denis, I hope that people from home, they can hear you, because you got your you're in Vietnam, and I don't know if you have your whole work set up with you. Are you traveling there, or do you live there?
At the moment, I kind of live here, and I bought a computer here, and I have a small room in Hanoi and work from home.
Okay, that's awesome.
That's good.
We need to get you a better internet connection.
It was the whole day good until the interview started.
I'm gonna jump to the image of Lucia. Oops, going in the wrong direction. Lucia, first of all, congratulations. I have to say that when we did the judging, this was by far, of all the competitions that we have done, the image with the biggest gap between the first and the second qualifier. Like,
Okay.
I think that everybody basically wanted this image to win. And I say
That's
that,
amazing.
and I
Thank
say
you,
that,
guys.
because some of the people
Yeah,
watching
we
from...
have to also admit, Fabio, we have to also admit that we discussed, during when had the live session like that. That was really bad decision that you did let that guy out, and that image was not good, and then okay, but the first one is not us. Yeah.
Yeah, that Lucia is gonna win back.
But people are asking us all the time for the timestamp because they just want to know who wins. I'm like, if you just watch the video to see who wins, you do not understand the thinking process behind it. We try to explain the whole process, and it's very difficult because you cannot simply say this wins because this wins, You have to show that we go through a whole process of like asking and negotiating, against our feelings, because it is difficult. You cannot be objective about this. And I just want to say this because, there was a little bit of criticism around the final decision. But to be honest with you, if you don't understand the image that Lucia has done, I got my... It's hard to explain. Like, if you don't understand here what it's happening, you should really reconsider your path as an artist, because this is an amazing picture. And I know that people will disagree with that, but it's an amazing image. And actually, Lucia, let's get a little bit the discussion going about it, because the one thing that to me was really evident is the fact that the way you have done it, it really is a reminder of the space, of the... Is it at the Met?
Yeah, the mat.
And the fact that you have used the shapes to create this installation, and there is the name of Vamsi on the wall. You told a very simple story, but it was very effective. And there are a lot of people, I see already like comments on the chat. People would like to ask you, how did you come up with the composition? What was the idea behind it? Just let's try to break down a little bit your thinking process in the very beginning, when you took the models, you saw them, and you said, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
So first of all, I wasn't supposed to do this competition at all because normally, everybody pretty much, work full time, and at the end of the day, I am absolutely knackered. I can't do anything except for watching Netflix. So normally I didn't participate in the previous competitions because of this reason. But then a client put a project on hold, so basically I didn't have anything to do at work. So my bosses, we had a conversation on Wednesday morning, and we said, Lucia, would you be willing to take like the rest of the week off just because there's nothing really that you can do? It's like, fair enough, I'm gonna do the competition
and I'm gonna win.
No, and then as Denis was saying, I approached this really in a very easygoing way. So I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm gonna make the best image of my life or I'm gonna win. I was so sure that some people who were gonna win were people doing some post-apocalyptic stuff. For some reason, I was absolutely sure. I mean, and it's weird because none of the top 5 was kind of post-apocalyptic, so it's quite interesting. But yeah, so basically I downloaded the models on Wednesday morning and have a look at them, and then the very first thing that came to my mind and said, oh, this thing looks like a pretty cool contemporary art piece. So I said that would be nice to put it in a museum, but I wanted to be big and powerful. I wanted to really communicate this kind of like something that comes from the future in a way. So that's why I called it Tales from the Next World, even the actual exposition. So I decided, oh yeah, that's nice, but what museum should I use? Shall I create a new thing from scratch? And then it came to my mind, and I went to the Met a couple of years ago, and I took some pictures with my phone. I'm not a photographer, so I'm really bad with that. But I remember very clearly. No, I'm seriously, I'm not a photographer. Like I would lie. I don't even own a camera. Like I own a very crappy secondhand camera that my ex-colleague sold me for 60 euros. It's not. My phone probably makes better pictures. So when I went there, but I was really struck with the beauty of this room. I really loved it. I loved the water and the big glass window. And I said back then, I remember, one day I'm gonna make a render about that. And then I said, well, that's kind of the time has come finally.
We gave you the chance.
Of course, this is the temple of Dendur, something like that. It's an Egyptian room, and I removed all the Egyptian stuff and then put fancy stuff in it. But I recreated the space pretty much exactly like it is in reality. And I was so cool, like hearing people saying, "Oh, but I'm sure that this place exists."
I've been there.
It is. I've been there. It's like, oh yes, that means that I did a good job in recreating it. So at first I created, of course, very basic lighting. I wanted, since the beginning, to have it in black and white. And as a personal challenge, this time I wanted to do a super landscape, because I normally do portrait, and I love portrait. I normally do 1-point perspective as well. And this is a 1-point perspective. I can't challenge myself too much.
This was really like a bold move to go for black and white, because don't get me wrong, I mean, you've done great, but it's like, personally, for instance, I would have never done it, because it's like you lose so many opportunities. But yet again, this is so powerful simply because it plays on the black and white. And
that's what I wanted. I wanted to give first of all, I always wanted to do an image in black and white, always.
It's probably your first one, because I haven't seen any other.
Yeah, it's the first one. It's the first one, and it's different. Like taking an image in color and then at the end do it a black and white filter, and then that's it. It's very different.
Yes.
This was, since the beginning was thought as an image in black and white.
Yes.
So if you remove like the black and white from this image, it doesn't work in colors.
Yes.
Some people ask me, so can you share like the color options? There's no color options.
Oh my god!
Seriously,
what's wrong with
no
people?
Color option. But anyway, no, I mean, to be
What
fair,
render
it's
engine you use to do this? What kind of
Uh,
render engine? This is the most important.
Corona, yeah, but it doesn't make any difference. Like, there's absolutely no point in asking that question. But I mean, I get that question all the time. So we know everybody gets that question all the time.
I know him. It was...
This is all the time wrong fucking question.
Oh my god, I love that. I absolutely love that, Mike and Chalk.
Next time you should do a version without people, with everything is on focus, no depth of field.
Yeah.
Dennis, I see you struggling with the sweat. Is it so warm down there?
Yeah, I do. It is, and I had to close the doors because it's so loud outside.
Guys, let me ask you another question. Are you thinking to go into the cube challenge, the next challenge?
It's just running here on the screen.
Oh, you're rendering
In
already.
black and white.
Don't share it with me. I want to be surprised. No, because I would like, one of the things that I would like for you to do is to maybe share a couple of words of inspiration for those who are thinking, we want to do the challenge, but maybe we're a little bit stuck creatively. What are the things that you're considering at the moment, or what are the things that you might have thought to do when you saw the challenge, if you saw it?
I'm not gonna participate, I'm afraid, in this time.
We cannot give you another prize anyway.
As I said, exactly. So pointless. No, I really wanted to get flashed. I have to say. I also wrote it down and said, Fabio, if my image gets, removed or whatever, eliminated, please flash. And then
I can play the flash now if you like.
If you want.
I love the flash sound. It's like it's part of it. It also shows the fun competition, part of the fun competition. Not taking it too serious.
It's so cool. But yeah, anyway, so I'm afraid I'm not gonna do that because as I work a few hours a day, at the end of the day, I just can't do it anymore.
Sure, don't worry.
So yeah, but I think like what I would say, not necessarily related to the cube, but that's what I thought when I approached this competition, is that, so what would other people do, and what could I do to make it different in a way? So like trying to approach it in another angle, which for some reason I thought I wasn't very successful this time, because I thought it was pretty boring actually, like in terms of, it's a museum, it's nothing crazy. I guess it's more like the composition and the contrast that was, and maybe the story, even if it was very simple, but that was more successful. But the general idea probably was not like super, original or whatever. But yet maybe trying to get something a bit out of the box in a way, so which is easier said than done.
It's actually this should be the goal, because I'm giving you a box, so think outside of it. Andras, what do you guys say?
I am working on an actually.
Really?
Yes.
I know. Okay.
Yeah,
Andras is just going to take the credit. We did it together.
Yeah. I got in the momentum with Andras of the competition thematics, and now I'm feeling quite inspired to do one as well. What my advice would be that don't think out the box. Like, think about an image, a story that you want to say, or like think about a concept you want to present, and then make the best out of it somehow. Don't let your box be the main character. Let your story be the main character, and then the box enhances it, or like your story in the
Guys,
shape of
I'm
box.
losing you. I'm losing you.
Sorry.
I don't know
Slower.
we're having internet issues. But anyway, let me just take a couple of seconds to say hi to everybody who's just joining us. Hi Ian, hi Amin. How are you guys? Hi Kisan. Hi Git. I hope that the answer to your question was good enough. Okay, should we try this again? Andras?
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks good.
Looks good.
There was some lag.
Yeah, maybe one of the clients is angry and writing millions of emails.
You see, you don't have to be in Hanoi to have a shit eater. You can see. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to, if I have time. It's usually for me, it's just the question of time. When I have a certain amount of hours, and I had so limited time to do this as well, like hours. I have two small kids now because of the home office situation. It's really hard for everyone. So, but usually, when I see these, of course, I check what is the challenge, and usually I have an idea all the time what I would do, and if I have time, I would do it. And of course, there's hundreds of different ways how you approach this. I believe this is like lots of people are really conceptual in this competition and really want to be really clever in this and having a deep philosophical deepness on these images, and they overcomplicate it. This competition is not about that, these challenges. So I believe it can be the process what Denis did, which is a really different process what we did, because I had a bunch of sketches and we basically reused one idea and put together something, and that's it. So, or you can do what Lucia did, that really wants to be, I just wanted to have fun, and that's it. And I felt good doing that, and I didn't really care about if we. But if that's I care about if we are going to be in live.
When it was judging live, we were caring about it a lot. But
yes. I know that feeling completely. It's like, I don't care. Let me watch the video.
Yeah, since the work is done already, the only thing left to care about is to hope to get the highest position as you can. So, but then you realize the reality that, okay, Lucia is going to win, like we were talking about it, obviously.
Denis, what about you?
Actually, funny thing is that the cube is a logo from the company from me and Tom. So I had to think around it a little bit. I'm not sure if my idea is good, but I have a different kind of approach how to render it. So that's like what Lucia said. It's like trying to do something different than the average. And I think I could use this challenge for a couple of things that I'm doing during my normal work at the moment. So I could connect that. I think it will be quite different. Not sure how far I get next time. But it will be fun and different.
Just to remind people, your company is Melomesh, right?
Yeah.
Good.
And I'm working on a new product, and I do a couple of test rendering with the cube.
Good. Let me ask you another more generic question, because I'm pretty sure that people will be interested in hearing that as well. Generally speaking, where do you try to get your inspiration from? Like, where is it that you drive it from, the kind of work that you do? Maybe we want to start with Lucia so that we can go clockwise on my screen.
So it's a bit weird to say this, but actually I get a lot of inspiration from other artists. So I know that I'm supposed to say like, oh yeah, from photography, from everything around me, blah blah. But actually, I love just seeing work of other artists and trying to understand what is successful in their images and what I like in their images and why I think, you know, they are beautiful. And I absolutely love the work of Mike Golden and Drokis and Thomas Dubois. And that's kind of more conceptual. But in architectural visualization, of course, always I had like Mir there. So, but yeah, so that's my everyday inspiration. I mean, of course, you know, if I go around and as happens this time with, you know, the Met, I see beautiful space around me and take a crappy picture on my phone and say at some point I'm going to do something like this. But that's a bit more, you know, specific in a way.
Okay, fair enough. Andras?
Yeah, you go. Yeah,
You go.
you know what? It's true that every time you check artists, like I'm on ArtStation, I'm watching other people on ArtStation. But more recently, I'm the most amazed about some of the TV shows. So not the most usual ones, but for example, there is Better Call Saul. It has beautiful camera angles and beautiful concepts behind the camera angles as well. Like this, in that specific show, the artist is really trying to tell, the director or the editor, really trying to say a story just with the image. Or there's Westworld, if you want to go with the color palettes and the craziness. There are really high quality TV shows nowadays that I think most of the times those inspire me the most.
Andras, let me just say that you missed an opportunity to say, to get a promotion by saying, I get inspiration from him.
Oh, yeah.
For them, I'm just the finance guy upstairs who is doing management. I'm not anymore the professional in the office.
That's how I started with good artists, but then there are the teachers.
What about you, Andras?
Of course, I'm a little bit older than this, Andras. So I'm more. As I said earlier, I'm still really interested in experimental architecture. So I have a huge interest in architecture, not necessarily the built architecture, but more like experimental architecture. So that inspires me, of course. I'm a big fan of filmography. So, I really believe that architectural visualization is definitely part of digital culture and digital culture made by films. And no, I'm not talking about, sorry, lots of people will be angry, Star Wars shit, but more classic art movies, probably, Tarkovsky or Kubrick and these kind of guys. Probably the 20 years old people don't know it. Please watch them because they already did lots of things on the table. And of course, I'm watching these series, but most of them, it's not telling new stuff, especially usually for me. But
what other series?
Actually, this will be a question later, but anyway, let's move to Denis. Denis, by the way, is Tom also in Vietnam or is he back in Germany?
He's in Berlin. He's in lockdown.
Is in lockdown? Okay. So what about you? Where do you usually get your inspiration from?
That's like Lucia said, you watch a lot of different kind of artists. I try not like when you see other 3D artists, I always see myself like copying it the next day or another day. So I try to get more inspiration from people who don't do 3D, like photographers or like there's someone called Peter Dorff who's just doodling, and then trying to translate that in a 3D language so that it's not direct copying. Because it's like really difficult when you see like 3D art that you like, to do something similar but not stealing it or copying it. Like in the end, you see like almost exactly the same image like the other guy did that you like. So I try before I'm making new image, like look at other illustrators, photographers, painters. Yeah.
Guys, now I have a question for all of you, and feel free to jump and have a discussion about this. What is to date, what do you think it's the best show that people can watch to get inspiration as designers? And I say this because people nowadays, they have a lot of like time on their hand. So, you know, there is a possibility to also explore that resource. Because one thing that I found out myself doing since I started to make videos on YouTube, as a person that makes content on YouTube, my main goal is to tell a story. And so, surprisingly, I found myself watching a lot of like documentaries, which have given me the ability of like explain ideas a little bit better, because they show you how to break down a story, a concept. And I don't want to say that this is the main reason, but lately some of the art that I've made myself feels to me like it was improved also because I improved that ability to being able to tell a little bit more with whatever it is that I was doing. Do you guys think that there is a show that it's worth spending time watching because it can really teach you composition, maybe storytelling?
Friends, you can learn English from me.
Pivot! Pivot!
Yeah, second level South Park. It also helps a lot.
All right, you're not gonna answer that, huh?
No, if I can recommend one, just recently I saw it. You know, I have a big interest in technological singularity, AI. You should watch Devs, DEVS. It's amazing. It's about the director is the same as Ex Machina. You saw that movie?
Yes, of course.
It's amazing. It's really exciting. I think it's on HBO, and it's a great inspiration visually as well, and it has a really interesting message. And you know, it's like this topic is really hot now, and I think it's a really exciting. I think altogether just 8 episodes or 6 or something like that. So it's quick. It's a quick to watch, and it's a great inspiration visually as well.
Yeah, nowadays I'm looking for something that I didn't look forward before. So like camera angles and camera motion paths. Obviously, shows and movies are the best source for that. And recently, I'm the most surprised about is it's on Netflix. It's about Earth. So I'm not completely sure about the title. I think it's Nature. That's it. That's it. And the camera angles in that show are mind blowing. And you know, sometimes also you can be inspired about that, like in architecture visualization as well, when we create animations or even just single images. How creative. Well, obviously a high-paid office can be by just nice camera angle. And also it's narrated by David Attenborough, like the Morgan Freeman of Europe, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's
I love him so much.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, you can catch nice visuals almost from anywhere if you are talking about shows, but you know, try to catch the high quality ones. You can also check the marketing, like the trailer. Just have a layer of a filter because there is a lot of shit. You know?
Yeah. I think that, so I watched it quite a long time ago, but The Man in the High Castle. And you might like or not the story. So it's about an alternative universe where the Nazi and the Japanese win the war, and they basically divide the world between them. But some of the shots were really, really beautiful. So at some point I stopped watching it because the story, I didn't like it that much. But definitely the first season, there are some shots that the colors, and it is, you know, very powerful. I really enjoyed it. And now I haven't watched it yet, but there is the the series inspired by Simon.
Tales
what's
from
his
the Loop.
surname?
Stalinag.
Yeah, Tales from the Loop. Yeah, Stalinag. And I don't know if you guys have watched it and if it's worth it, but I heard that some people watched it and they loved it. But
to be honest, I give up on that.
Yeah, me too. I wanted to say thank you. Because I was like, if I make a post on Facebook, they're gonna kill me.
No, because it's a bad series. Visually, there's two problems with it. One of them that Simon Stalinag composition is working really nicely on these concept drawings, but these this design of these creatures are not really. I'm not saying well done, but it's looked like a little bit silly on film, and that's a little bit weird for me. And also the stories. I watched like a couple of episodes, and it's a little bit flat, a little bit boring.
My main problem is the story as well. Like, it's a basic sci-fi show, like stretched until 10 episodes or more. I don't know. Like, it's visually really beautiful. Well, that's the main point to watch it for artists, I guess.
Yeah. Do you know what's my problem? It's just the whole concept is the same as Black Mirror. So there's like different stories. Yeah. The only difference is a little bit connected, but it's different episodes, different stories. But Black Mirror usually has a deeper meaning, a deeper level, and this one doesn't have, or I didn't see it yet. And that's why I mentioned Devs, because I watched like 2 episodes from Devs. It's a much slower in terms of storytelling. It's a much slower series, and it has a much deeper, visually much better, and a much deeper philosophical level. So I give up on that test.
Oh, that's such a disappointment. I haven't started, so probably I'm not gonna watch it now.
No.
It's like
I might give it a go.
Yes, you should do it because I don't think that you should be able to make a decision on your own. But also, Jake says he give up on the show, so maybe you shouldn't watch it. Denis, what about you?
I like to watch a YouTube channel called Peter Draws. It's just a guy who's doodling and filming his doodling. And he makes like really interesting kind of shapes.
Would you mind say it again, Peter?
Draws.
Oh, Peter Draw.
D-R-A-W. Yeah, Peter
So
Draw.
like drawing, Peter Draw.
And he's doing also a lot of pencil tassels, but if you watch him doodling, kind of relaxing, and you can see like different kind of shapes that you haven't seen like all the time.
Okay, so I put it on the screen so the people from home, they can also maybe go and watch it later. And it might be a font of inspiration for them as well. There is a very cool YouTuber that I recommend you to watch if you are into YouTube, which is Fabio Palvelli.
I knew that you would have said that. I knew it.
Sorry, I had to do that. I'm desperate. Hold on, I'm just trying to go through the comments to see if there is any new comment. Nothing new on the horizon. Okay, guys, listen, I really want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me. This was, of course, a beautiful, informal conversation. Any recommendations to those who are thinking to go into the next challenge, that might give them a motivation to do so?
Well, it's just go easy going. Like, just don't overthink it and enter it. A lot of people say, "Oh no, but not good enough." But for fuck's sake, no! Just do it.
Denis.
Yeah, enjoy the process. Have fun doing it, and that's it.
No pressure.
You do the best. Yeah.
Andras.
Actually, I already thought like what I think about this, but don't. To be honest, don't try to win. So I just wanted to have fun, and of course later on when I finished the image, I also wanted to win. That's actually that's natural. But during the process, I didn't really care about it. It just was a good excuse to do it, to do something, and I think that should be the good, because otherwise, you start to compare it, you start to figure out what the other is doing, and in the meantime, you are maybe lost a little bit because you're just focusing on I want to win it, instead of just do something what you are really want to do and have fun. And
really don't check the others before you put your entry up. Just have an original idea by yourself. I'm also fighting for quality. So if you love your image, then put quality in it. Like figure out the details, be sure you have a nice color palette, or make a nice composition, a good story, then put it out. That's it. What can you do in a week?
I'm very excited to say that this week we're going to have new sponsors helping us out. We're going to have a commercial license from the guys from Quad Spinner, Gaia, this earth creating software. Then we're going to have assets from the guys at Laubwerk. And there is one more sponsor which I'm working with. They still have to confirm. But, it's an extra incentive for people to join, because at the end of it, you're not left empty-handed. You also win something, which is a small sweet addition also to confirm the fact that you won something. All right. But anyway, guys, I really want to thank you one more time for taking time for talking a little bit about your work. Congratulations, really, and thanks a lot for everybody who is supporting this show by watching it or by taking part as an artist. It really shows a very nice side of our community, right? Because people come together, they spend a couple of hours to celebrate the effort of you artists getting together. And I don't know, it makes me really happy, and I hope that it makes you happy as well to see people coming together to do so. Guys, thanks a lot for giving me the time. If there is anything else that you wanna say before we say goodbye.
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for organizing all this.
Thank you for putting up all these challenges. I think it's amazing that, this industry is as united as ever in this horrible period. So it's good to see that, everybody is doing their best to stay up positive. And, you are making this happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I super agree. The fact that people are coming together, it shows really like a beautiful side of our industry. Denis, I saw you wanted to say something?
No, I already did, but
Okay.
my microphone or the connection was so slow.
Okay, next time, make sure that you have a good microphone, because if you win again and you're on the show again, we expect better sound quality.
I'll do my best.
Don't worry. Actually, I appreciate you guys taking the time. Okay, guys, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna stop the stream so that I can say goodbye to you one more time. Thanks a lot, everybody from home, for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you, I think, in a couple of days. Maybe I'm gonna do my my cube online live. I'll try to come up with some idea. I have no idea at the moment what I'm going to do. But then on Sunday there will be the live show, and this week we're going to have Pedro Fernandez, one of the judges. Then we're going to have Mike Pryor, which is a computational designer. It's good to have like a side view, so to say, an alternative side view when it comes to judging. But anyway, guys, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna stop the streaming. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching at home. I'll see you guys in a couple of days.
Bye, guys.
Bye.